David Anthony Burke's rise to fame began in a Houston bedroom, armed with nothing more than a phone, GarageBand, and a TikTok account. Recording under the name David, his music resonated on a massive scale. By the time he was 17, his songs had amassed hundreds of millions of streams, leading to a record deal with Interscope and sold-out headline tours. But the meteoric rise of a teenage prodigy would soon be overshadowed by a grim reality. In April 2026, Burke was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The tragic timeline, according to prosecutors, began in January 2022 when Burke first encountered 11-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Investigators allege that by the following year, when Celeste was 13 and Burke was 18, an inappropriate relationship had formed. The prosecution claims she frequently traveled to his home and accompanied him on trips to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Their attachment was reportedly underscored by matching tattoos, including one of Burke's name on Celeste's hand. Concerns grew in early 2024 when Celeste's family reported her missing on 3 separate occasions, although Burke allegedly told investigating officers that they had only met once. Prosecutors claim he went to great lengths to maintain contact. After Celeste's parents confiscated her phone, he allegedly drove to her hometown and paid a classmate $1,000 to sneak her a new one. The situation reached a breaking point in the spring of 2025, following a heated argument in which Celeste reportedly threatened to expose their relationship and destroy his career. Prosecutors allege Burke sent a rideshare to her Lake Elsinore home on April 23rd. According to the state, Celeste did not survive the night. What followed is described by Los Angeles prosecutors as one of the most methodical cover-ups they have ever encountered. Burke allegedly made multiple trips to a lake in Santa Barbara County and took deliberate steps to conceal her identity, specifically targeting the tattoo that bore his name. He allegedly removed her left ring finger for that reason alone. While this alleged cover-up was taking place, Burke continued his public life without pause. He gave a radio interview the day after her disappearance, and his debut album Withered was released the very next morning. The devastating truth finally came to light in September 2025 when workers at a Hollywood tow yard noticed a smell coming from an impounded Tesla. Inside the front trunk, sealed in plastic bags, were the concealed remains of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She was 14 years old. Burke was arrested in April 2026 and pleaded not guilty. The case is still ongoing. Teresa Johnson, known online as Reesa Teesa, is a woman from Atlanta who in February 2024 uploaded a 50-part TikTok series called Who TF Did I Marry? It ran over 8 hours and was watched by 437 million people. It is the story of the 6 months she spent married to a man she nicknamed Legion after the biblical figure possessed by a swarm of demons. She met him on Facebook dating during the COVID lockdown. He claimed to be a VP at a condiment company, paid most of the bills, left for work at regular hours, and seemed entirely convincing. Then she ran a background check for a new job, and the social security number he gave her didn't match the one on their own marriage license. She pulled on that thread, and everything fell apart. His bank accounts were fabricated, his college credentials were forged. He was not a VP of anything, he was a temporary forklift driver. He had told people she had given birth to his child. The child didn't exist. Less than 5 months after the wedding, they divorced. Internet sleuths identified Legion as a man named Jerome McCoy, who came forward to deny everything. A woman who described herself as another former wife of his corroborated every word of Teresa's account. Johnson signed with talent agency CAA, appeared on Good Morning America, and grew from 8,000 followers to 3.5 million in under 2 weeks.
The screech of stolen cars can be heard ripping through roads.
They're stealing Kias and Hyundais with a cell phone charger.
And a new viral trend that is now a real-life menace.
I don't give a fuck where you at. If you in Japan, Australia, you in the middle of Antarctica, you got a kid that is on that, please be safe.
In July 2022, a TikTok user posted a short video demonstrating how to steal certain Kia and and Hyundai vehicles in under 90 seconds using a flathead screwdriver and a USB charging cable. The video was live for 13 days before it was removed. The damage was already done. The reason it worked was simple. A significant portion of Kia and Hyundai models built between 2011 and 2021 were manufactured without engine immobilizers, a standard anti-theft feature almost every other manufacturer had adopted years earlier. What followed was a nationwide epidemic. Milwaukee reported over 10,000 vehicle thefts in a single year, a 132% increase, with 2/3 involving Kia or Hyundai models. At least half of all suspects were 16 or younger. Some were 10 years old. The pattern spread to Seattle, Atlanta, New York, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration linked the trend to at least 8 deaths. Kia and Hyundai eventually agreed to a class action settlement valued at around $200 million, covering roughly 9 million vehicle owners. Ali Abularpan met his wife Anna in Japan in 2014 while serving in the US Air Force. They eventually settled in San Diego, where Ali built a TikTok following of nearly 1 million people under the name Jinkid, known for impressions of Al Pacino and the rapper 6ix9ine. As his following grew, so did his cocaine dependency and what prosecutors described as a pattern of controlling behavior. By late 2021, Anna was trying to leave. He had been moved out of their luxury apartment and was living in a hotel. On the morning of October 21st, 2021, Ali installed spyware on their 5-year-old daughter's tablet. Through it, he heard Anna in the apartment with a friend, a 29-year-old man named Rayburn Barron. He drove to the building with duplicated keycards he was no longer supposed to have, let himself in, and shot both Anna and Rayburn dead on the couch. He then called his mother to tell her what he had done. At trial, he did not deny the killings. He took the stand and testified, "My gun was in my hand, and next thing I'm shooting, and I can't stop." The jury convicted him on both counts, and in September 2024, the judge sentenced him to 2 consecutive life terms and told him directly he will die in prison and never be a free man. In January 2024, Universal Music Group, the world's largest record label, home to Taylor Swift, Drake, and Billie Eilish, removed all of its music from TikTok overnight. Their licensing deal had expired and negotiations had broken down. Millions of videos lost their soundtracks instantly. UMG said TikTok was refusing to pay fair royalty rates, failing to address AI-generated music cloning real artists without consent, and resisting basic protections against harassment. TikTok accused UMG of prioritizing profits over artists. The standoff lasted 4 months. In May 2024, a new deal was reached and the music went back up. The episode exposed something the industry had quietly worried about for years. TikTok had become so central to how songs go viral that even the most powerful label in the world couldn't simply walk away, and TikTok knew it. TikTok Shop launched in the United States in September 2023 and within a year had become one of the fastest growing retail platforms in the country. It had also become one of the most comprehensively fraudulent. The pattern, which people online called scammercore, worked like this. Products were seeded to affiliate creators who posted endorsements without any first-hand experience of them. The algorithm amplified videos that drove purchases. Consumers received something far inferior to what was shown, sourced from cheap third-party suppliers. Returns were designed to be difficult. Reviews were fabricated at scale. Some storefronts operated on entirely fictitious business details. Regulators began pressuring TikTok to improve seller verification. In June 2022, a Miami-based chef and TikTok creator who went by Chef P posted a video of a neon pink condiment she had created. It went viral, so people wanted to buy it. She started shipping it. That was where it went wrong. Customers reported wildly inconsistent colors. Some bottles arrived pink, others white, others had darkened completely in transit. The bottles were not vacuum sealed, a significant food safety issue for a product in summer heat. The label listed the serving sizes in a way that mathematically added up to well over 100%. When this was pointed out, Chef P dismissed the criticism and claimed people were just hating. Videos of leaking bottles circulated with Moist Critical even making a video on this topic. One viewer calculated each bottle contained approximately 444 24 servings. The FDA conducted a review that didn't go too well, so Chef P relaunched in reformulated form through a licensed manufacturer. The source is still available. In 2021, TikTok's algorithm began surfacing content with a simple and catastrophic premise: hold your breath until you lose consciousness. The families of at least 15 children in the United States filed wrongful death lawsuits after their children attempted this and did not recover. Among them were Leilani Erica Walton, a 9-year-old girl from Texas; Ariane Arroyo, 9 years old, from Wisconsin; Neela Anderson, 10 years old, from Pennsylvania. These were primary school-age children whose recommendation feeds had showed them content designed to make them lose consciousness. TikTok maintained its algorithm had not specifically targeted minors and blamed users for uploading it. The lawsuits argued the platform bore direct algorithmic responsibility. Multiple wrongful death cases still remain in active litigation. Nara Smith is a model with around 12 million TikTok followers. Her content shows her making everything her family eats entirely from scratch: croissants, cereal, soda, in elegant dresses, speaking softly, children playing around her. The Tradwife trend she sits within has been one of TikTok's most debated movements of the past 3 years. At one end, it represents women who genuinely find fulfillment in homemaking and choose to document it. At the other end, it intersects with communities that view the Tradwife not as a personal choice, but as the correct and natural role of all women. Hannah Neeleman, known as Ballerina Farm, is a former Juilliard-trained ballet dancer who left a promising career to run a family farm in Utah with her husband and 8 children. A profile in the Times of London in 2024 raised pointed questions about how much agency she had over that decision. The question the trend never quite answers: what is the difference between a woman choosing a life and a platform algorithmically telling young women what their lives should look like? In May 2018, a 21-year-old man named Cameron Herrin was street racing in Tampa, Florida, driving at nearly 100 miles per hour on a public road when he struck and killed 24-year-old Jessica Robinall and her 21-month-old daughter, Lilia. After he was sentenced to 24 years in prison in April 2021, a strange phenomenon emerged on TikTok as a community, predominantly young women, began posting content expressing sympathy for him rather than his victims. Describing him as too handsome to be in prison, they sent him letters and circulated a petition for his release. While this documented pattern of attraction to violent criminals has a clinical name, hybristophilia, TikTok's ability to amplify it at scale and turn it into a trending conversation was entirely unprecedented, as the Robinall family publicly shared the anguish of watching the man who killed their daughter become an object of romantic fascination. Herrin continued serving his sentence without ever engaging with the community that formed around him. Terrian Ishmael Thomas, known to 8.2 million TikTok followers as Mr. Prada, was 20 years old when he was arrested in Dallas, Texas in October 2024 in connection with the death of a 69-year-old Baton Rouge therapist named William Nicholas Abraham. Abraham was a well-known figure in Louisiana, a former Catholic priest turned mental health therapist who had appeared on cable television. On September 29th, 2024, a passerby noticed a suspicious tarp on the side of Highway 51 between Fluker and the village of Tangipahoa. Inside was Abraham's body. He had died from blunt force trauma to the head, neck, and shoulders. The sheriff described it as a very physical, very violent death. Surveillance footage from a store in the area captured Thomas driving Abraham's vehicle. When officers attempted to stop the car the following day in Baton Rouge, the driver reversed into a marked police unit and fled. The officer later identified Thomas from a lineup. Thomas was arrested in Dallas and faced extradition to Louisiana. His attorney noted that a 2015 allegation against Abraham involving a minor was unrelated to Thomas. The case was ongoing as of late 2024. Chroming is a fatal trend involving the inhalation of chemical fumes from aerosol products such as spray paint, deodorant, and hairspray to achieve a brief intoxicating effect that can cause cardiac arrest within minutes. Despite there being no safe version of the practice, content normalizing chroming circulated widely on TikTok from 2021 onward, leading to tragic real-world consequences. In March 2023, a 13-year-old Australian girl named Ezra Haynes tried it at a sleepover after seeing the videos and did not recover, prompting her mother to become a prominent advocate for tougher social media regulation in Australia and to give direct evidence to the Australian Senate. Similarly, in the UK, a 16-year-old named Tommy Williamson died in August 2021 after a chroming incident in Northamptonshire. Although TikTok removed the content when reported, advocates argued that the platform's algorithm surfaced new variations under different hashtags far faster than moderation teams could effectively respond. The sweeping effort to ban TikTok in the United States spanned 5 years, ultimately resulting in exactly 90 minutes of the app going dark. The core of the controversy was the concern that TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, could be legally compelled by Chinese law to hand over American user data or manipulate the algorithm to shape domestic viewpoints. In response, TikTok proposed Project Texas, a $1.5 billion initiative to silo US data on Austin-based servers subject to independent auditing, but critics maintained that ByteDance still ultimately controlled the platform's code. After Congress passed legislation in March 2024 giving ByteDance an ultimatum to sell the app or face a ban by January 19, 2025. ByteDance fought the law all the way to the Supreme Court, which unanimously upheld the legislation. When the deadline arrived, TikTok went dark for just an hour and a half before President-elect Trump issued an executive order declining to enforce the ban in favor of negotiating a sale. As of mid-2026, a partial sale has taken place, though the fundamental question of who controls what Americans see remains unresolved. In 2017, cultural critic Lauren Michelle Jackson coined the term digital blackface to describe predominantly white non-black users adopting black cultural expressions, speech patterns, and mannerisms online, essentially borrowing the aesthetic and culture without providing context or credit. On TikTok, this phenomenon became highly visible and specific as white creators adopted dances and content styles originating with black creators, subsequently going viral and securing lucrative brand deals. Meanwhile, the black originators of those exact same trends were algorithmically suppressed and financially overlooked. By 2023, the issue had evolved with the advent of AI voice cloning tools, which enabled the non-consensual replication of black celebrities' voices in a practice critics condemned as AI minstrelsy, leading directly into the events of the next entry. Frustrated by a system where they built TikTok's culture while white creators profited from it, black TikTok creators went on strike in June 2021 by explicitly refusing to choreograph dances to new songs. The clearest catalyst for this movement was the Renegade, the most iconic TikTok dance of the platform's early years, which was created in 2019 by a 14-year-old black girl from Atlanta named Jalaiah Harmon. It became globally associated with Charli D'Amelio, a white creator with tens of millions of followers who performed the dance repeatedly without crediting Harmon until a New York Times investigation forced an acknowledgement and a joint appearance on The Tonight Show. Despite this isolated resolution, the underlying dynamic remained unchanged. Leaked internal documents later confirmed that TikTok had deliberately suppressed content from creators it deemed too ugly, poor, or abnormal, a discriminatory policy that disproportionately impacted black and disabled users. Mahek Bukhari, a British lifestyle and beauty influencer from Stoke-on-Trent, orchestrated a deadly trap after her mother, Ansreen, attempted to end a secret 3-year affair with a 21-year-old man named Saqib Hussain from Banbury. When Hussain began blackmailing Ansreen by threatening to send explicit material to her husband unless she repaid money he claimed to have spent on her, the mother-daughter duo lured him to a Leicester supermarket car park on February 10, 2022, under the guise of handing over the cash. Hussain arrived with his friend Mohammed Ijazuddin, sparking a high-speed pursuit that was captured across multiple CCTV cameras on a dual carriageway. Reaching speeds of 100 miles per hour, the victim's car was brutally rammed off the road, striking a tree and splitting in two before bursting into flames, instantly killing both men. Moments before the crash, a terrified Hussain pleaded on a phone call, "They're trying to ram us off the road. Please, I'm begging you, I'm going to die." Rather than stopping to help, several defendants drove back past the burning wreckage. Mahek was ultimately convicted of double murder and given a life sentence by a judge who described her social media career as having made her utterly self-obsessed and oblivious to the damage she caused. In October 2025, an appeal court reduced Mahek's minimum term, citing her young age and immaturity, though her mother's minimum of 26 years remained unchanged. The Island Boys, heavily tattooed Florida-based twins, Franke and Alex Venegas, rocketed to viral infamy in October 2021 with a widely mocked video of themselves. Capitalizing on the spectacle, they parlayed their notoriety into podcasts, collaborations, and adult content platforms, though their rise was continuously dogged by controversies ranging from criticism over adopting black cultural aesthetics without acknowledgement to filmed physical altercations. Following multiple arrests for Alex on various charges between 2022 and 2024, their trajectory serves as a compressed illustration of TikTok fame, a system that rewards the initial spectacle, amplifies the subsequent fallout, and rapidly moves on. Ruby Franke amassed 2.3 million subscribers on her YouTube channel 8 Passengers, where she documented life with her husband and 6 children in Utah, while simultaneously drawing sustained concern from observant viewers alarmed by her punishing, humiliation-based parenting style after videos surfaced showing a 6-year-old being denied lunch as a punishment and children being threatened with the destruction of their belongings. Public outcry led to multiple petitions for child protective services and the eventual termination of the channel. Franke then partnered with Jody Hildebrandt, a counselor whose services were described by former clients as psychologically damaging and isolating. The horrific reality of their partnership was exposed on August 30th, 2023, when one of Franke's sons, severely malnourished, covered in open wounds, and with extremities bound by rope, escaped Hildebrandt's home and knocked on a neighbor's door. Authorities soon discovered a 12-year-old daughter in a similar condition inside the home, leading a prosecutor to compare what had been done to the children to a concentration camp setting. Both women pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse and were sentenced in February 2024 to a potential maximum of 60 years in prison, with Franke permanently losing custody of her children. James Charles, once the first male spokesperson for CoverGirl and one of the world's most prominent beauty influencers, faced 2 massive career cancellations. The first occurred in 2019 when fellow influencer Tati Westbrook posted a 43-minute video detailing allegations against him, causing Charles to lose a then record 3 million YouTube subscribers in a matter of days before he managed to dispute the claims and largely recover his platform. The second, more damaging blow came in 2021 when multiple young men provided screenshot evidence alleging that Charles had sent them explicit messages while they were underage. Although Charles acknowledged the conversations while claiming he had been misled about their ages, the fallout was swift. TikTok suspended his account, brand deals evaporated, and while he returned to social media months later without facing criminal charges, his prior level of influence never fully returned. In March 2023, leaked internal documents exposed TikTok's Auto-R policy, which explicitly instructed the algorithm and moderators to suppress content from users internally categorized as too ugly, poor, or abnormal to appear on the For You page. This sweeping guidance specifically targeted individuals with visible disabilities, irregular body shapes, facial conditions, and those filming in environments deemed shabby or slum-like. While TikTok attempted to frame the policy as an anti-bullying measure designed to prevent harassment, critics argued it had the exact opposite effect by algorithmically penalizing vulnerable demographics and denying them the reach freely granted to creators who fit a narrow physical standard. Although TikTok claimed this version of the policy was discontinued early in the platform's history, creators who experienced the suppression firsthand maintained that its discriminatory effects persisted regardless of official statements. From 2022 onward, TikTok's algorithm came under heavy fire for actively promoting eating disorder content to minors, with researchers discovering that newly created teen accounts were served videos promoting extreme thinness within just 8 minutes of account creation, as hashtags pushing disordered eating accumulated billions of views before being restricted, only to be instantly replaced by coded variations. Clinicians warned that the content was actively triggering for vulnerable users. The mounting pressure culminated in September 2023 when TikTok paid $45 million to settle a US lawsuit brought by multiple state attorneys general over the platform's harmful effects on minors. While TikTok subsequently removed millions of related posts and expanded its filters in October 2024, advocates continue to argue that the platform's fundamental algorithmic incentive to optimize for engagement is structurally incompatible with protecting young users. Beginning in 2023, TikTok fueled a concerning trend that drove children aged 8 to 12 to demand adult anti-aging skincare products such as retinoids, glycolic acid serums, and peptide creams from stores like Sephora and Ulta. The phenomenon alarmed dermatologists, who warned that these adult-strength ingredients are entirely inappropriate for developing skin and can cause severe chemical burns and barrier damage. As viral videos showcased 8-year-olds discussing multi-step anti-aging routines, Sephora staff reported being overwhelmed by children crowding the skincare aisles, sometimes completely unsupervised by parents. With no legal action taken to curb the trend, medical professionals pointed out the glaring risk. TikTok had successfully created a direct, dangerous pipeline from adult influencer marketing to vulnerable children's purchasing behavior.